Hi Libra, this is your May 2013 forecast. This is kind of an interesting month. We have a couple of eclipses this month. One is a solar eclipse, and that will be on the 9th of May. And the other is a lunar eclipse on the 25th of May. Eclipses tend to be a little bit more of a longer lasting influence. And they also tend to be a little bit more emotional since the moon has to do with emotions. So you could see some actually kind of a long-term change process within this month, since you do have two pretty impactful influences going on. The solar eclipse on the 9th is in your 8th house. Solar eclipses tend to be like initiate something new. And the 8th house is the house of shared resources. So you could see this, maybe you just got a loan, or something to do with a spouse's income. Maybe they just got a promotion, you have more income coming in, hopefully. But anything that you share either with a close person or relative, or even an institution, so banks with loans, maybe you're starting a new insurance policy, or an investment with others, and sometimes it has to do with taxes as well. Hopefully that is not the case for you, because taxes were due in April. So make sure you get that all squared away with. Then on the 25th of May, there is a lunar eclipse in your 3rd house. The 3rd house is the house of communication, short trips, and agreements. And lunar eclipses tend to sort of wrap up things. They signify more of the ending, whereas a solar eclipse signifies the beginning of something. So, and lunar eclipses tend to be quite emotional as well. So maybe there's something that you have an emotional tie to that's kind of coming to an end, a project, especially when it's in your house of communication. You could see, something that you've been working on, some communicative kind of project or process. Maybe you're writing something, or you're advertising, you've been communicating with someone over email, or on a social network or something like that. Maybe that will culminate and kind of come to an end at this time. It also is it's being affected, this eclipse is being affected a bit by Neptune. And Neptune is a funny planet. It's kind of the planet of illusion. And so when you first come across Neptune, it can almost seem magical. Like there's almost like fairy dust sprinkled around, where everything seems, wow, almost dreamy. But often it's not really true. And it can be a little bit of a deceptive planet, where you eventually find out that what you thought was really nice and dreamy is no longer, is not really representative of the true either person or situation or event. So I know that people have met people, like even a spouse under this kind of influence of Neptune, where they think this is the perfect person, they get married, and then sooner or later they find out that sort of what was represented initially is not really how the person is in true form. So be wary that that is an influence at this time of the lunar eclipse, and just kind of try to keep your wits about you. Don't get kind of consumed by the dreaminess of everything, or magical influence. It is kind of negatively aspected. It is definitely negatively aspected for this lunar eclipse. So, and it's also in your 6th house, which is a house of work environment, or health. So be careful if you have anything going on that's health related. Definitely see a doctor, take care of that, nip it in the bud. or anything going on in your work environment. You know, maybe something that seems too good to be true and a little bit dreamy. It very well could be. There's also another influence on around the 20th of May, and it is a negative aspect between Pluto and Uranus. These are two kind of heavy hitters within the planetary world, and they're very slow moving planets, so this aspect does not happen very often. It's quite rare, actually. And they are in square to each other, so it means that they're not really, it is quite a negative aspect. And when we've seen this in the past, it's been pretty devastating on more of a global, national scale, a bigger scale. And hopefully that will not happen. It tends to signify, you know, revolt or kind of governmental, political issues, even war on a larger scale. Hopefully that will not occur around this time, but in the past we've seen that happen with this influence. But it could be more on an individual level. So if you are, maybe there's some kind of inner turmoil going on, and on my website at astrologykiki.com I talk more about how it would affect your sign in particular, and how that inner turmoil could come about. But just be wary around the 20th of May, there's that kind of a really bigger influence. I wish I had better news for you in the second part of May, but definitely the first part seems, you know, quite light. Shared resources, something that you're working with others, and maybe you're getting some, you know, new loan or something where you can move forward with the project. Towards the end is an eclipse that signifies the culmination or the ending of something. Just be careful of that Neptune influence. And then the 20th, we'll all just kind of wait and see what happens. But it very well, you know, like I said, go on to astrologykiki.com and see how it might affect you personally on that site. And have a great month. Thank you.